Hey guys, welcome back to another Fathom Group Focus. Today we're going to talk about our goal this year for Fathom Groups. We talked about at the beginning of the year in our training in July. What is our one goal for this year? As we talk about Tribe, as we meet together on Sunday nights, what is the one thing we're trying to accomplish for 2018, 2019? And our goal was that our students would feel an increase in felt partnership this year. And so we talked a little bit about what does it mean to have felt partnership? What does it mean to be a partner? And so felt partnership, we said, is to feel like someone is equally as invested as they are in their life, in their relationships, and in their faith. And so we talked about what was a partner mean. Well, in business, partners are someone who are equally as invested. That you have someone who's got 50% investment, another person who's got 50% investment, and that means they care equally about things. This person is just as concerned about the health of the business as this person. This person is equally concerned about the outcome and the production of the business as this person. This person is equally as responsible as this person is. And how comforting it is to have someone with you in that. And so how cool would it be for our students to feel like, when they're concerned about their friendships, that they have someone else who's just as concerned with them. When they're concerned about what's going on in their family, they feel like someone else is just as concerned with them. When they're concerned about how they're growing in the Lord and getting to know Him, they have someone else who's just as concerned with them. And so that's our goal. It's for our students to feel like they have partners in this. And I also want to distinguish really quick. There's two kind of ways that we can be leaders or mentors, and both are common. Is we can either be a partner or we can be a consultant. And we're striving to be partners in this. And the difference between the two is that partners are present while consultants are in the distance. And so it's very tempting sometimes for us, or it's just convenient sometimes to be consultants and sit back and to discuss things with students and say, here's what you should do, and offer advice. And those are good. But for the students that we're trying to be partners with, we need to be present. Because that's a different level of investment. It's a different level of security for students to have a partner versus a consultant. It's nice to have a consultant, but I think most people would take partners over consultants any day. But I think back in my life, the times where I felt most secure and most safe about taking a hard step was when I had partners with me. Whenever I was not sure about something or afraid about something or had to do something difficult, I think I felt best going into those situations when I had someone who was in it with me. A silly example. I remember when I was a kid, we used to go to water parks a lot. We visited Myrtle Beach a decent bit, and there was always those giant slides that were come down at a steep level and then kind of even out, and they were like 60-foot drops going straight down before they even out, and I was terrified of it. And my dad tried to get me to go on them for years, and I just couldn't make myself do it until one year he said, listen, I'm going to go with you the whole way. We're going to walk up the stairs. We're going to stand in line together. We're going to go down together. I think he conned me into thinking I could literally go down with him. But I said yes because he was going to be with me every step of the way, up until I learned that I had to go down by myself. And I was a little bit mad, but I still did it. But that partnership enables us to do things that sometimes we couldn't do on our own, and to a bigger extent than a consultant. And so I really want to challenge us. What does it look like for us to be partners instead of consultants? If we're going to be partners, I think there are three things we need to do well with students. One is I think we need to be consistent. We've asked our leaders to pick one student that are going to have 3 meaningful one-on-ones with throughout the year. If you're going to make a student feel like you're invested, you can't just do it once. And really, I don't even think you can do it twice. You need to show them that you're consistently going to be in their life. You're going to be present with them throughout the steps. You're not just going to talk with them about stuff, but you're also going to be with them. And so 3 meaningful one-on-ones. Now, I heard some of you guys say, I'm going to pick them all. I can't just pick one. You're allowed to pick them all, but you also must pick one. If you pick them all, what you're doing is you're picking none. If you pick too many people, there's going to be such little investment in each one of them where you might build a relationship, but you're not building partnership. And relationship and partnership are different. I have several relationships. I don't have several partnerships. And for our students to feel like they have someone in it with them, there's got to be consistent investment in that. And so we're saying 3 throughout a year. And you can't do that for all your students. Now you can do that for one of your students this year or this semester, and maybe next year or next semester you pick a different student and hope that the consistency from the first year to the first semester carries on, and it will. And that's how I've built relationships with students over the years. I heavily invest in a student for this year, for this period of time, And when you do the front work, they realize how invested you are in them, so you can do less work later on with them, and they still open up to you and still share with you, and you can still do life with them. Going forward, the initial investment is big, but it takes a strong initial investment for them to invite you into that partnership level investment. And so consistency is huge in that. Don't just pick all of them. You'll pick none of them. You must pick one. You can pick all and one, but you've got to pick one specifically to do well. Outside of consistency, you have to have real conversation. Real conversation means you got to be honest. You probably have to learn to ask open-ended questions well, not giving the opportunity to say fine or good or okay, but hey, how is this going? How are you enjoying this? What's the best thing about this? What's the worst thing about this? That's important in real conversations. I'd say another thing in really important conversations is encouragement. Our students are in a very critical world. They're pretty insecure, and man, they're going to feel so excited when they feel like someone is calling them out for good things and encouraging them in good ways. They're going to hang out with those people because that's not common in their world. And so if we're encouraging them in real conversation, they're going to feel loved. They're going to feel like we're excited about them, and they're going to invite us into that partnership. And so we talk about consistency, real conversation. I guess the last thing I have in the real conversation thing is if you don't know what to talk about with a student, I generally hit 4 topics when I talk with them. I talk with them about family, friends, faith, and themselves. How are your friends doing? Are you getting along with them? Are you having fun with them? Are you changing friends? How's your family? Are you getting along with mom and dad? Are you close with them? You listen to them? How's your faith? You feel close to the Lord? Do you feel distant? Are you in the Word? Are you not? How can I help you and love you in that? And then how are you? Are you overwhelmed? Are you stressed? Do you feel alone? And those are kind of the topics I hit, and I feel like, okay, I'm hitting these things. I'm talking about real things with them. I'm asking open-ended questions about these things, and it feels meaningful and worth our time. So talk about consistency, real conversation. The last thing it kind of goes along with real conversation is follow-up. In order for students to feel like we're really partners in their life, they don't just want to start things with us. Partners finish things together too. And so if we discuss things with them, we need to check up with them on the back end and say, how did that go? How are you doing? Or, I know I've gone with students before to SCA who've spoken before, and they're really nervous to share their testimony or whatever, and I'll show up on a Friday morning, and they'll share their testimony, and I'll give them a hug and encourage them for it, and I'll make sure to the next day or the next week sit down and say, hey, let's follow up. How do you think that went? How are you feeling after that? Are you excited about that? Great. And make sure it's not just a one-time thing, or not just on the front end, but making sure that we reconnect with them on the back end. Hey, you were nervous about that test you were taking. How did it go? Because then they feel really invested in, and it's a holistic investment instead of just let me give you advice type deal. I think if we do these things, I think if we seek to be partners, I think incredible things will happen in our ministry. I think students will open up in a very real way. I think we'll be able to speak real truth into their life. I think we'll have more opportunities to minister to their hearts. Partners are pretty privileged in the workspace. And that's true in the lives of students too. When they see us as partners, we're pretty privileged in their life. They will share with us special information. They will share with us cool moments and invite us into cool moments of their life. I think those will be the times that we get to make a real difference, and the Lord will be able to really bring out some fruit in our ministry. So, keep that as our focus. Increase felt partnership in the lives and faiths of students, and let's figure out how to make these meaningful interactions throughout the year count. Guys, thank you for all that you're doing. Thank you for your ministry. You guys are a blessing and an encouragement. Know that we're praying for you. See you next time. Bye.